Hey everybody, Wrinkled Runner here. So I wanted to reintroduce my tortilla video. The introduction was kind of wonky. So before I head out for a run, I'm going to be making some homemade tortillas using a recipe that I found online, and I linked up to that website down below. And I demonstrate how to use a tortilla press, and this goes really well with the fish taco recipe that I'm also uploading at the same time. So I'll link up to that and you can go check it out. 1.5 of all-purpose flour, and that can go right into the stand mixer. That's also 186 grams in case you're using a scale. You're going to use half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and then just give it a little mix just so that it can mix together. Then while it's mixing, you're going to add your oil and your water. This is half a cup of warm water, and then half of a third of a cup of oil. You might find you have to stop the mixer and push down some of the flour in order for the dough hook to get to everything. And you may have to do that a couple of times throughout the mixing. But you're going to mix that up. And once everything comes together into a ball, we're going to take it out of the mixer. And we're going to divide this into 8 equal portions so that we can make 8 tortillas. You're going to take each piece and roll it into a ball, and then just set it on your counter because we're going to be resting the dough for about 15 minutes before we flatten them in the tortilla press to make the taco shells. Okay, you're going to take a towel or a piece of clear plastic wrap, cover up the dough balls, set the timer for 15 minutes, and we're just going to let them rest. Okay, so we've been letting the dough balls rest for about 15 minutes, and we've taken our tortilla press and we've put a piece of wax paper on top of it so that it keeps the tortilla press clean, and it also helps when you're stacking the tortillas after you flatten them out so that they don't stick together. So you're just going to take a dough ball and put it in the middle. Squish it down a bit, then tamp it down with the tamper. I like to do it a few times. And there you have your disc. So because our dough balls aren't very big, we don't have very big tortillas. And we're actually using these for smaller fish tacos, which is why I didn't double the recipe. But if you were to make them for bigger, like a burrito or something like that, you would double the recipe and then use twice as much dough in making the tortilla. What you can do is put it on a floured surface then if you want to make them thinner and a little bit bigger, and then roll them out. You actually very easily can just use the rolling pin to make the whole tortilla, but I also wanted to show how to use a tortilla press as well. There you have them stacked, and then we're going to go over to the stove and cook them on our cast iron skillet. Okay, so I have a cast iron skillet and it has been heating up and it's pretty hot. We're going to put our tortilla on there and then set the timer for 1 minute. You don't have to use a cast iron skillet, but I really like to use that for making the tortillas. But you can use whatever you have. Now what you're looking for on the surface on this side is bubbles to start forming up and for the dough to start bubbling. You can see it kind of on the edges coming up a little bit there. And then after about a minute, you can check and see if the underside has these brown spots on them before you flip it, but you can see that it's starting to bubble up nicely. We still have about 30 seconds to go, but I'm just going to check just to make sure that we aren't overcooking them and that it looks okay. Okay, so we have about 10 seconds left on the timer, but I'm going to flip it anyway because you just want these little brown spots on it. You don't want too many. And then when you flip it over, it's only going to take about 15 or 20 seconds to do the other side. Now this one's kind of wonky. It's not in a really good circle, but it'll taste good with the tacos anyway. Okay, so when that's done, I like to use this thing right here to keep my taco shells warm. There are also tortilla warmers as well that you can get. So we'll do another one right there. Set the timer for a minute. And watch for the bubbling action. Once again, we have about 20 seconds left, but the other side is browning, so I'm going to flip that. You don't want to burn it and you don't want to get it too dark because then it will become tough. Okay, and that one was a quick one. My cast iron skillet must be really hot right now. I'm just going to put it in there, and that will keep that warm for a while we make the fish tacos.